preface this show by saying I have watched way too much soccer. I was in Seattle calling MLS. I came in here, went to the LAFC game where I work. Wednesday I was in Atlanta covering Club World Cup. So a lot of airports, a lot of soccer games. And I came here and the first thing you do is turn on Club World Cup and go, I've lost my marbles, but I know I'm in the right place. And you're in the right place too. This is the Soccer OG. Like and subscribe the video, the channel. Come with me here, and this is a safe place for all of us to discuss all things good and bad in U.S. soccer, the global game, Major League Soccer. Just hit that thumb and leave a comment as well, and we can have some nice discourse. Complaints are accepted. As you will see, I do respond most of the time, even to the nasty ones, even with the people that want to argue, which I do enjoy too. So, you know what? Even if you want to argue with me, you're watching the video, and I appreciate that. So let's get into this topic here. The United States advanced to the semifinals of the Gold Cup after beating Costa Rica in penalties. They will face Guatemala. Unbelievable what's happening in the Gold Cup. Guatemala knocking out Canada. Jesse Marsch making the news cycle, changing his tune. I know Jesse. I like Jesse a lot. I don't know if I can call him a friend. I don't see him that often, but I like Jesse. If I see him, we're very warm. But he's got to, simmer down with some of the things he says because he backs himself against a wall, and now he has to answer it. That was a cataclysmic loss for the Canadians. Guatemala winning a game in the quarterfinal of the Gold Cup, I think they said, first time in almost 30 years, just out of nowhere. I mean, Costa Rica, Honduras, Panama, El Salvador has a little pedigree there. Guatemala came out of left field, but they have been the best part of this Gold Cup, drawing big crowds as they have for games. So it's good, and it benefits the United States because they should be able to get by Guatemala. We'll talk about that at the tail end of this. More surprises as Honduras picked my pick to win it, Panama. So I was thinking about the executives at Fox, who for a moment there were looking at a semifinal of Guatemala. It was very close to happening. Guatemala, Costa Rica, and then Honduras, Mexico. So no USA, no Canada. You do have Mexico, but that benefits TUDN, Univision, and not so much Fox. But whatever, it's the Gold Cup. But now Fox is back in it, and now they could potentially have USA, Mexico at the end of the rainbow. I think it's a pretty safe bet, you would think, but the way this Gold Cup has gone, don't bet your hard-earned money on the Gold Cup results, because this has gone different. It's just different. It hits different. I've watched every Gold Cup since I don't know. But the craziest one I saw was when Canada won. It was like 1998 where they beat everybody. This is kind of paralleling that. Gold Cup, remember, it was always USA, Mexico. Honduras, Costa Rica would get there. But this is different, and it's enjoyable as long as the USA made it through. And I'm going to tell you a couple good items that came out of this US game. But this was the starting 11, and no surprises. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you about who should be here and who shouldn't. These are the players. This is the team that's taking us through the Gold Cup. There's no one else coming in here from the first team. So we could say Max Arfson or Patrick Agyemang or Sebastian Berhalter are not a first-team player, but they're here, and it is what it is. Maybe there can be some movement in the starting players. I don't think that's going to happen either. So I'm not going to really waste my breath with it. It's a collective effort. This team more than any, and it's about execution. It's about Mauricio Pochettino's game plan, and really, win or lose is going to fall on Poch, in my belief, even though it may not be completely his fault. But after what happened in the Nations League, and Costa Rica coming out really good in that second half, tying the game, hitting the post, Alonso Martinez, to me, has been the most impressive development. I think this guy should have a European future, or if not, if New York City is going to be languishing in MLS, send him to a team at the top of MLS where he can be a little bit more high profile, whoever that is. This guy scored the goal to tie it, hit the post late to possibly win it. He hit his penalty when no one else for Costa Rica was hitting it. Alonso Martinez, rock star. Very impressive there. So Costa Rica with Piojo Herrera, very good coach moving forward. I know people, me originally with Keylor Navas, I don't think Keylor Navas, I think they got to move on from Keylor Navas, even though he had a couple nice saves here. This is, it's time to give Costa Rica a new identity. They're ready for that, and that is without Keylor Navas, who retired. Now he's got to stay retired. It's not his fault. They brought him back. He almost got to the semifinals. But this is the margins of soccer. If Costa Rica wins, and then you add what happened in the Nations League to the U.S. getting knocked out in the quarterfinals of the Gold Cup, I don't think U.S. Soccer was going to fire Mauricio Pochettino. And I'm not the one pushing for anyone to lose their job, but I think they probably should part ways. If you lose 2 games in the Nations League and you lose to Costa Rica in the Gold Cup and you have the World Cup on the horizon, you cannot risk it. You can't. But now that they've won it, and we hope that pushes them through, slingshots them through to potentially at least the Gold Cup final, if not a Gold Cup trophy. Things are different. But that's what the fine margins are so fascinating in this sport. Mauricio Pochettino pulls it, and the first big positive I want to mention about this is Matt Freese. Matt Freese, we crushed him because he played a ball out of the back. That's not his forte. But man, is this guy good on penalties? Mauricio Pochettino is indebted to Matt Freese because if Matt Freese doesn't make these saves in the shootout, Mauricio Pochettino has to be asked tough questions. Mauricio Pochettino is going to be under fire because this is not good enough. When you also add the result against the Swiss, I'm sorry. I think U.S. Soccer has to go, this isn't working. We have seen enough. We've seen enough games. So it's all different now. And Matt Freese, I think he's kind of become the number one. I don't think Mauricio Pochettino is going to budge him after that. Mauricio Pochettino is going to look good, and Matt Freese made him look good. Matt Freese, other than Alonso Martinez, who hit his penalty, and Freese went the other direction, and when you include the Francisco Calvo penalty that was scored in the first half, Matt Freese got his hand on every penalty, of which there were, 7 in this game. There was one where he stood in the middle against Calvo in the penalty shootout. He anticipated he was going to go down the middle. It was brilliant. He was just oozing with confidence. He was not going to lose that shootout despite everyone thinking Keylor Navas was the better keeper. Matt Freese was great sign for the United States. And when he sat there in the middle and was like, I ain't budging, and went bang. So that's good. And look, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. There's a lot of issues here and a lot of players that Patrick Agyemang, this was his worst game, I thought. I mean, the one saving grace for Patrick Agyemang was that he was involved in a lot of plays. Not as much here. Max Arfson, who scored a goal and had an assist, looks great going forward, but we need defenders that can defend, and he didn't defend well. Luca De La Torre, I don't think we can involve him here. He was messy. He and Arfson were together on that equalizing goal by Martinez, which was, who was it? Carlos Mora came in for the Ticos. So that was bad. So I mean, there's several guys that we're not going to include in this U.S. team moving forward. But they're here. Pochettino's going to play with them and move in the semis. I'm pretty sure. I don't think there's going to be changes. Maybe John Tolkien comes in. We'll see what happens in the midfield. Maybe Jack McGlynn comes in. Or maybe they play with a Cardoso-Tillman or Cardoso-Tyler Adams combination. I think there's some options there. But, this was horrible. I had my head in my hands, and I was preparing this video to be fire and brimstone. But now, I feel we have the goalkeeper, and I'm going to say something else. I got a lot of texts and emails from friends who saw the game, who were excited about U.S. Soccer. The bar is very low, but this was the most exciting thing for U.S. Soccer in a long time. A competitive game in the Gold Cup. I feel it. We should all feel it. That enthusiasm, that positivity. I'm not kidding you. I was surprised. I was like, some friends, I go, what are you talking about? We should have lost that game. Go, oh, no, I watched it. That's just one person. I know many of you felt it too, because we were at the LAFC game and people were pumped because it's a penalty shootout. You win it. You're this close to defeat. Those are 2 good items to take away. Your goalkeeper and the United States finding a way through. Now they got to take advantage of this. And we will reassess after the semifinals. Wednesday, it's in St. Louis at Energizer Park, so the U.S. should have a good home field advantage, although Guatemala travels so well, you'd be crazy to think that they're not going to buy a lot of tickets there. And then the other game, Mexico-Honduras, is going to be in the Bay Area at Levi's. So the U.S. should get through here. They played a very good first half despite the penalty. Second half, they started lagging, which was troubling, and then they took care of business, the penalty. So we're going to keep it a positive show. I know it wasn't all positive. We're going to keep positive. We're still here. We're in the game, and the tournament's opened up. The Soccer OG will be back here after the semifinals. Like and subscribe to the videos. Leave a comment, a question, or a complaint. See you next time.